Well, that's all I care about. That's the best
Well,
kind of
that's the
weather.
best one.
That's
now.
right.
We don't ruin nothing.
How are you doing? Well, let's go ahead and call this meeting to order. Looks like it's 5:31 p.m. Councilman Baird and Councilman Goodrich have asked to be excused today, so we'll excuse them, and we appreciate the rest of the council being here. Councilman Busenbark will go ahead and open this meeting with prayer, and then Chief, I see you hiding in the back. Do you want to do the Pledge of Allegiance? Okay. And we'll go to that point.
Dearly Father, we're so grateful to be here as a city council and members of Roosevelt City. We're grateful for this land we live in, the freedoms we enjoy. We're especially grateful for Roosevelt City, for the people that live here and help serve and help make this a great place to live. We're grateful for those that serve in protecting us and helping us in fire and the EMTs and others that help keep us safe, and we hope and pray that will bless them as they're away from their families and they are out protecting us. We're grateful to Thee and hope and pray Thy Spirit be with us as we make decisions about Roosevelt City, that we can do those things will be in the best interest of our citizens. We ask You to bless our citizens, and we say this in the name of Thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have the minutes of the last meeting from July 15th, 2025. Are there any amendments or corrections to those?
I would move we approve.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Second by Councilman Allen. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. We do have our public comment period at this time. So for the next 15 minutes, we'll give time to the public if they'd like to address the council. We'll give up to 3 minutes per person. Are there any that would like to take that opportunity? If so, come to the front. Go ahead and speak your name into the mic for the record, and then Lance, go ahead.
Yeah, my name's Lance Denver. Is this working?
I don't think so.
I speak loud anyway. Okay, my name's Lance Denver. I bought some ground south Bosler Corner out in Hancock Cove. It's in the city limits. It's zone industrial, and I'm looking into doing an RV park. A really nice RV park where people come in, shower, wash their clothes, have a place for them to walk their dogs, things like that. A really nice one. And the only reason why I'm here is to let all of you guys know and to see what we can do to change the ordinances to make this happen. Because, we all know that Roosevelt City needs something for people to come and stay in. And I know that Drew Eschler's looking into that right now, but I just wanted to show up tonight for a minute and just let all of you be aware of what my intentions are.
Sure.
And that's it.
We appreciate that too, and I know Nate, he's mentioned, I'd hate to call you out, unless maybe you can come up and speak for yourself, but I've talked to him a little bit about tiny home subdivisions and things like that as well, which would fit into the same kind of category. And Drew is actively looking at other cities to see what ordinances they have.
Yeah, that's what he said. So.
If we allow something like that, an idea that I'd like to see is that they look a lot like you would see in St. George or something like that are taken care of, have some type of an HOA. This would be a little different because you would own the whole facility, but we do have trailer parks as well that are less than appealing, I guess. And so we want to create an ordinance to allow that, make sure that it's going to be taken care of, and I'm sure you will, 100% as long as you own it. And then also make it to where it would, current trailer parks and things like that maybe needed a little upgrading will fall into that as they change hands of ownership. And so we're working on a lot of those things. That'll be brought to the planning and zoning first.
Yes,
For consideration. I know he's working on it, and we're definitely wanting to see something like that in our city, so.
that's great. I was in Richfield, the wrestling matches last winter, and they put a new one in down just on the south end of town, and it'd be a really good idea if you got a hold of Richfield City, and which I've already mentioned to Drew about that.
Yeah,
A really nice place, so.
yeah, that would be great. And if you have any pictures or anything, send us,
I
but.
did, and then I decided I wasn't gonna do an RV, and I erased my pictures, and then now I'm kind of back on board with it.
Well, we can get a hold of the city manager down there and see if they can get us some pictures and things and their ordinance of what they've done. But that's, yeah, I think we're open to the idea. We just want to make sure that
Yeah.
line values are protected and something.
Right,
that-
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, so I've,
Yeah.
I've done 4 subdivisions in my career, and they've all turned out, spectacular in my opinion, so I don't,
Yeah.
I just do top-notch stuff, so.
Absolutely.
Let you know that.
Yeah, thank you.
That's all I have to say.
Yeah, thank
Thanks,
you.
Lance. Thanks for coming. Is there anyone else here tonight that would like to take an opportunity? Matt?
Matt Luce, complainer. I'm relaying some information that I received from kids at the park. I talked to you about it this last weekend, that water fountain needs to be fixed. Cleanliness on the restrooms are also an issue for the kids. They find them disgusting. These aren't my kids, these are other kids that I'm talking to in the park. But that water fountain really needs to be fixed up at Centennial. I don't see why it's not working, especially in the summer heat.
And that's the one, I think, by the pavilions
Which pavilion?
at the Centennial. Not Centennial, at Constitution.
Yeah.
Constitution Care.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a lot of vandalism problems with those drinking fountains. We can't keep them up and running. So it's something we need to discuss, whether we just get rid of them, because we've added new ones around the park in different locations. So vandalism's been a big problem. They get kicked, they get hit, and they leak. And so it's something we need to look at for sure.
Gotcha. Maybe, I know we've talked about cameras in that area in the past. Maybe it's time to get some of those as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
I'm
I'll have to look
assuming,
into that.
I'm assuming the vandalism is also a part of the playground structure that's been destroyed. There's missing steps on the bridge, or at least one missing step on the bridge. I think it's something you need to address, maybe in your budget as far as maintenance goes throughout the years, because these things can't just be put in place and then left alone.
normally, I really do think we have a great Park and Recs team, but those are things sometimes you get overlooked, so we appreciate you bringing those up for sure.
The other thing is no restroom at Old Mill. That really makes it difficult for families with young kids. I shouldn't have to take my kids to one of the businesses around there to use the restroom. And there's a lot of activities that happen in Old Mill. And from my understanding, I haven't been here long enough, but from speaking to other residents that have, it was a second phase, and apparently second phases never happened in the city.
Wait a minute.
That's the comment.
Not when we started project. I wasn't a part of that one.
That's not what I'm hearing. So apparently that land was sold, that was supposed to be used for the restroom at the old mill.
That's interesting.
And that's something that should be addressed, because that park is used.
Yeah,
It's used by kids.
I didn't even think about Old Mill Park not having a restroom, but that's
Actually,
something we have to
we
look at.
They, for the interfaith, they have,
And all those
the
trails.
Sunday, they bring in porta potties.
Mhm.
So cool.
And that should be something that's done
Yeah.
to all the events if you can't supply a
Right.
permanent restroom.
Well, that's
Most
something
big
we
events that happen at Old Mill,
Design
we
my
brought in
next
porta
little
potties.
mini
Like they have business
plan.
fair, the porta potties are brought in. So
Yeah.
the porta potties have been brought in.
And my thought is, and we can talk about that, because this is not the time to discuss it, but
I've got all the.
we'll take note of it and we'll come up with some
I
solutions.
just need to get it
Thanks.
Thank you.
finalized.
Anyone else?
Get a permit, so we'll see water passed.
I will mention, I did get one person that walks around the walking path and nature park. And on the, I think the water coming off the the hospital parking lot is going down that hill and it's washed out right next to the bridge, from what I understand. Started to wash that asphalt out. And so that's just something we might want to look at, but I think we might have to redesign where that water's going. And so if we can just take a look at that.
Absolutely.
Anything else? Okay. We'll go ahead and move on with the rest of our meeting. Grant, am I okay to make some appointments to Arts, Parks and Rec? It says council appointments and committee appointments, but doesn't specify.
You're okay.
Okay. So we'll do the first one, which is for planning and zoning. So the name that I would like to present to council for appointment is Jeff Baker. He works with Jones and DeMille Engineering. Really good guy, very active in the community. We have a lot of different talent on the planning and zoning, but we don't have an engineer at this time. And so I think that would be good, just to have that type of perspective. And so I would present his name to the council for first questions and then hopefully approval.
Is he willing to do it? Was he voluntold?
No, I actually.
You have to apply for these things. It's quite a process.
I mean, he had the best resume and everything, so he must want it pretty bad.
No, I think that's great.
So,
I have no issues. I actually would move we approve unless someone else has a question or whatever.
we do have a motion to approve. Do we have any further discussion?
I'll second.
We have a second by Councilman Allen. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Two other names that were presented for the council. This would be in the Parks and Sports Subcommittee. Is I'm gonna forget him now. Crying out loud. We'll come back to that because I'm having a Biden moment. But I do this all the time. I don't know what it is about names. I can think of faces, but I cannot think of names.
You're not that old, brother, you're not
I
that old.
know. Tell me about it. This is bad. This is a bad sign, Lance. But we'll come back to that here in just a minute. We'll circle back around. We have a couple of public hearings that we need to have tonight and then action items regarding those public hearings. So we're going to start with 8A, which is a fee schedule adjustment, and we'll ask Austin Babcock if you'll come up and present that for us.
Austin Babcock, I'm the cemetery manager. We're looking to up the prices of our fees at the cemetery. It's something we haven't done in quite a few years, and we're looking to expand our cemetery into something that can kind of hopefully offset the price of that. On this page I'm presenting, it's kind of showing our current pricing that we have, and then the proposed pricing that we came up with, just kind of looking at some other things, we have the resident pricing and the non-resident pricing for basically everything. We kind of came up with these numbers for the proposed pricing off of a fee comparison that I did from kind of just some random cities around the state. Just kind of from big in population to small, just kind of all around the state. So we kind of came up with some averages and then kind of based our proposed rate off of those averages.
One of the questions I had, and I'm wondering if this is figured in the pricing, and I'm guessing it is we're looking at expanding the cemetery, and then we're looking at how much that expansion is going to cost, and looking at the fees of what we'll collect and how many graves there are. I mean, how does that pencil out with the new fees?
I don't know that it would pay for it, just the purchase fee and the holding closing, based off of, I think the number was like around 3 million something. And there was only like 1,000 maybe graves that were gonna be in the new expansion. So I don't think it would have exactly paid for that. We do have other fees though that we have to charge, so I'm not sure, how that would all play out, but yeah.
Well, I definitely think it needs to be raised based on everything that we've talked about. Is there any questions for Andy on this? Austin. Your brother's Andy.
Yeah.
Seeing that,
I was trying to think if I asked him some earlier, and just to make a note, the average for resident on there from all their cities was 560. So 500 for Roosevelt is, still below that average. And the average for non-residents was 1,220, and Roosevelt was 900. So we're still below the average. And a lot of those will probably go up, and that includes
That's the fair plot average. If you're going based off of the opening and closing, the average of it is lower than what we're kind of proposing. We just kind of match our opening and closing price, our weekly opening and closing price with our burial lot sale price, so.
all right, well, if there's no questions from the council, would entertain a motion to go into public hearing for this.
Yeah, I move we go into public hearing to discuss the fee schedule adjustment for the cemetery.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman White, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we'll consider ourselves in a public hearing. Are there any in the public that would like to speak to this? And please state your name for the record.
Tammy Haslam, Bowling Green Mortuary. This is very reasonable. This is about what we see from other ones about the size of this, and we think that this is very fair.
Okay, awesome. That's great feedback. Thank you.
Tyler Powell, also with Hollinger Mortuary. I've been employed there for 11 years now, and Roosevelt City resident for about 10. So the only thing I see is the proposed pricing for the cemetery burial spaces is higher than Uinta County. Uinta County, just as a comparison for our neighbors. So there, just a comment, cemeteries, there's not a one in the state of Utah or in the West that is a money maker. Cemeteries are black holes for financially, and that they are a public service and a social service pretty much. So just to note with that, with taking account into the fees, generating a revenue for that expansion project. So thank you.
Thank you. And I'm well aware that it is definitely not going to be a moneymaker for us. The one difficulty we have that I will mention is Roosevelt City is in Uinta County. The county actually pays for and takes care of the cemeteries, and that's been defaulted to Roosevelt City. And part of the reason for that question is, what is the subsidy then? And can we go back to the county and ask for them to help out with that subsidy, which would also alleviate some of that burden and maybe even the need to charge higher prices.
That's a complicated issue. I know Uinta County, it was quite complicated for them, but
It's there, Ben.
yeah, and Duchesne County, as far as the county, they're staying as far away from that as they can.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, believe me, so my legacy as a mayor was probably going to be, making people pay to a degree for what they use for Roosevelt City. Because ask Edwin, we worked on some things together, but it's just trying to distribute that to all the people that are benefiting from that, so that it's not such a burden on the few that live here in Roosevelt City. But thank you for those comments. Are there any other with the public that would like to speak to that?
I would move we go back to regular session of council then.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman White, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll consider ourselves back into regular session.
Mayor, I did have one question. I remember what it was now. I was having a Biden moment also. When was the last time we raised the rates?
2018, roughly.
2018? So
Do you know what the increase was at that time?
I believe we went for resident 200 to 300.
I think he's right. And non-res went up more than that, but yeah, that was about what it was.
Historically, we've been increasing the non-resident more than the resident.
Right. Is that kind of typical? About every 8 to 10 years, we end up with another bump?
Yeah, and we traditionally, as Tammy and Tyler can attest, we've been leading the basin in highest rates over the years, but now
No.
we're not, so. We were setting the trend for the rates in the basin for a lot of years.
Well, I think it's needed. I think with the expansion eventually that we're gonna have to get in, we need to do it. So I would move, we approve the changes in the cemetery fees that are proposed by Austin Babcock.
Okay, I will allow that motion. We'll go to 9A on the agenda then.
Oh,
Allow that
I'm sorry,
motion. So,
I apologize.
do we have a second for that motion?
I'll second.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Cody?
I said,
Just
quiet.
Sorry, Mary, went out of order. It just.
That's okay. So we'll consider those two taken care of, and that's approved. Thanks, Andy, or Austin. I'll go right.
Can I ask a question? When
Yes,
will this go
please.
into effect? Just because I need to know.
Basically immediately, now that it's approved and gone through the process, I'm sure it'll show up on our fee schedule and they'll start charging this from this day.
Probably tomorrow or the next day.
Yeah.
I suggest you give it a couple of weeks.
We do need a concrete date, pretty
Yeah.
much, so.
So, yeah, I was gonna say, as soon as this is basically the change of the fee schedule, so as soon as it's approved, they should start charging the new rates. So it should take effect tomorrow.
Okay, so somebody will email me all this tonight.
Austin?
Or you can look it up on rooseveltcity.com. When is that gonna change to rooseveltcity.gov?
When I get the document, I can get it on the website.
Okay, but for now, it's rooseveltcity.com. You can find all of our fees and fee schedule there. But would somebody do the favor of emailing Tammy those
Yeah,
new fees? That would be great if you guys could post it. I don't know if you advertise those or post those at your offices, but.
No, but
Okay.
I gotta know when I
Refer
meet
to
with
it.
families, so I don't wanna
Absolutely.
charge wrong, so.
Yeah.
And I didn't get them all memorized.
Yeah, okay. Next item, 8B, we'll go to the fiscal year 26 budget opener. As you're passing those out, I'm gonna jump back to the committee appointments, because it did come to my mind as soon as I wasn't under pressure. So, Steve Winters and Kasem Snow to be on the Parks and Sports Subcommittee. Both were heavily involved, Kasem Snow with the hospital and a lot of events that they do.
That would be Kyson.
I was gonna say Kyson.
Okay, so. Just make sure you spell it right.
And Steve Winters?
And Steve Winters, yeah. Any questions, concerns, or?
I'll move that we approve those two.
Okay, we have a motion to approve,
I'll second.
second by Councilman Rosenbark, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, those are taken care of. Okay, we'll turn the time to you, Zeke.
That graph we have before you that was passed out, I just wanted to give you an idea of where we're sitting right now with the cash in our PTIF accounts. Before we go over this request to open the budget. Currently, right now, we have $17,262,016 in the pooled PTIF account. And that's where the majority of our funds obviously are. And then within that fund, it's broken out on who has what claim, which departments and funds have claim on that 17 million. The majority of that claim is to the water department. That's where the majority of that number is made up from. And then the rest are just smaller accounts that some of them, like the bond reserve, are required to have or an escrow account. And then we just have some pooled general sinking funds where we set money aside for specific projects. And so that's what all those are. So having said that, we have before us a request to increase the fiscal year 26 budget. And so I'll just go through each one of these. The first one, the APR Arts Park and Rec Arts Division, they have raised revenue of $18,556.88. So the revenue for this increase is just coming from the money they raised, and as well as the pooled one. They have $280 that they need moved from their revenue to their expense line. Then we have the Public Works Department for the Big Sand Wash Pipeline or cathodic protection. The request there is $291,000. That would be coming from the fund balance. Public Works Capital Projects has requested a 1-ton dump truck with plow for $125,000. That would be coming from fund balance. Planning and Zoning, this is for the Dean Johnson buyout contract of $150,000. Recreation has profit in their city-sponsored runs of $2,980 that they would like to use towards future runs, so that's requested to move that there. Golf, also similar thing, they have the Lighted Night Golf fundraiser. They raised $8,000 that they would like to have moved into their expense account. Admin Department Capital Projects, there's a request for $35,000 for vehicle cameras. This is roughly $50 per vehicle per month. And we do have departments here if you guys have further questions once we get through this list on each one. Admin, the roof replacement, there was a change order of $24,325 that came in on the roof that's being put in right now. The cleaning crew van, that one, we're gonna take that $25,000, we're gonna try to repurpose that. Well, we need the van, we're gonna repurpose some vehicles that we have currently with the city, and then just take, the request is to take that $25,000 and move it to purchase a Mini X trailer. We just recently purchased a Mini X, and we just need a trailer to go along with it, so that's what the request is there. So no additional expense, just changing the project is all that request is. And then the next one is the Innovation Hub railing. That came in at $50,000. We did have $22,275 last year that we didn't use, and then an additional $27,725 from fund balance, so a total of $50,000. And then the last one is moving $50,000 from we currently have budgeted in the Main Street building project. So the request is to take $50,000 from there and move $25,000 to make the mailroom more functional here in the building, and then $25,000 to the ambulance building, clean up on a full remodel, but do some cleanup project work on that. So the total request is $705,141.88. My recommendation with the amount of cash that the water fund has would be to transfer this from the water fund to help cover that.
Do we have to have a public hearing to transfer the money from an enterprise fund to the general fund? Okay. Just from some of the other, okay. So I just have a couple questions. Well, first, does any of the council have any questions on some of those?
I don't have a question, just comment on the big Sandwash pipeline. That was brought to us like 2 years ago, I think, or a year ago, that this was coming.
That was in 23.
Yeah, I thought it was 2 years ago, and so we knew this one was coming. We just didn't budget for it, right? Because we didn't. It came to us the one time and it never came back for 2 years, and then now they're showing up. Oh, by the way, you said you paid for this.
Did they have? And I know they did, and I know we budgeted for it. But did they ever come up with an actual hard cost of the project, and then that be approved by council? I just don't want there to be a thought that if we approve the list, this has still got to be on an individual basis, where each one of these projects is over $10,000, where that project's bid out and then come back to council. And so, to your point, Don, it came up to council. We did approve to budget for that project. We anticipated it was going to be less than this. Actually.
Yeah, I thought it was like.
Actually, it was 300 to 400,000 was the estimate.
The overall project cost.
Project, yeah.
But our portion of that was going to be
A portion of it.
70% of the overall project
Yeah, I
cost,
believe so.
which would have put it at.
What's that?
This project is done.
It is done.
Oh, it's done.
It's done. This
Water
project
Conservancy District, this is their project.
has been completed.
Okay, so they've sent us a bill.
They sent us a bill that
We have
we're
an
now paying
invoice.
our portion.
Okay, because I think, anyway, long story short, with some of these, just want to make sure that they still come before the council if we do approve the budget.
And this one is on the council approval list
Right.
for invoices.
291.
Yeah. The,
Mayor, if I may,
yeah,
dump truck is a great example, exactly what you're talking about. If that's approved tonight, they're gonna repurpose the old dump truck, give it to the golf course who desperately needs it. Kirby is already working on bids from different trucks to bring to council for approval to buy that. So he's not gonna go out and buy the dump truck today. He's working on getting those, he's already got a Ford bid, a Dodge bid, he's working with other dealers. So yes, those projects will come back for final approval. This is to allow him to move forward getting those bids to bring. So exactly what you're saying.
Mayor, sorry, the other thing I was just gonna mention, some of these two are fundraisers where money was brought in and they just can't spend it unless it's put into the budget that they can. And so I think that's important to make a note that some of those are not coming from the city, but from the money raised, like Zeke mentioned.
yeah, good point. And I know the Arts Parks and Rec, they've been working hard, and that money's been going into the general fund and it needs to be expended back to their budget, which is appropriate. The other one that I had is the vehicle cameras. And, yeah, tell us about that one.
Do you want me to?
Yeah, question on that.
You don't want to talk about it? So it's more than just vehicle cameras, it's a fleet monitoring system. It's got, we talked to a couple of vendors and there's a state contract company called Samsara, and they put in a monitoring thing and it comes with a front facing camera. It's not facing the driver, we're not recording any sound or anything with that. It's just to help us track accidents or near misses, running stop signs, things like that. And then there's a block that goes in and plugs into the system with it as well that helps us track oil changes and fuel costs and engine run times, and just helps give us some better data on what we're doing with that fleet. So it's a fleet management program, and if you put a block and a camera in a vehicle, it's $50 a month. If you put the block, it's $20 a month. So we're guessing on how many vehicles we would do in the end. So max, we're putting that in, and then we'll go back and refine the bid and enter a process with them to figure out exactly what vehicles and how we would do that, and then come back to you with a final cost on it. So
I guess I can ask the question in open session, but is there an issue that we're having with, or did something spur, I guess, the
not one thing specifically. Occasionally we'll get a call about something like that. Some of it is to just help us determine if we're getting our best value out of the fleet program, the lease program versus buying our own vehicles, and where those costs can come in and to help. We don't really have a fleet manager. We don't have anybody tracking tires and oil changes and making sure that's done, or the check engine light comes on. And this is just a way to help combine that data into one. So.
And then the other one that's probably doesn't follow with you, but the rating, I'm guessing the ADA rating at the Innovation Hub.
And Mayor, just back to the cameras real quick. Another thing we've discussed internally is if we have one accident that's disputed, this actually helps protect the employees and help us do investigation if anything happens. We had an incident where somebody complained about one of our drivers. We did our best to find out, investigate was anything happening. We couldn't find any evidence that anything really did happen, but this would be a good way to monitor when we're using city vehicles if anything's going on. We don't have reason to believe anything is. It's just an extra protection when we're using city funds on city vehicles. And we're being proper with those funds and treating the vehicles how they should.
Gotcha.
And then yes, the railing is for the ADA accessible. Oh, if I may be here, the last two on there, those are ones that I put on there. So those are just ones to make it more functional. We have $100,000 in our capital fund for the Main Street building, because we know that's been kind of an ongoing theme. So these are different things that we could reallocate some of those funds to. So for example, the ambulance shed, this would all be done in-house. This is not bidding it out. Is there any sheetrock needs to repair? Any little things so we can actually start to make some progress. If we wanted to work towards a museum of things we could do there to get it ready. But again, with those amounts, the project itself would have to come back to council.
Sure. Any other questions?
No, I would just comment, I mentioned to Mr. Baker earlier today, I've been reaching out to the Utah Historical Society, et cetera, to see if there's any grants or opportunities. January to March is when you can apply. They've kind of, with budgets and stuff, they kind of paused a little bit, but they may open up. I'm waiting to hear back on, from another person in the organization to see, because obviously if we can get some grant money to help, set us up to get a museum, I think that would be a worthy thing, and we love grants, right?
100%. Great. If no other comments by the council,
So what you need is a motion
to go into public hearing.
to go into public hearing. So I move we go into public hearing to discuss the fiscal year 26 budget.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second? I'll second. Second by Councilman Allen. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll consider ourselves in a public hearing. Is there anyone here in the public who would like to comment on the fiscal year 2026 budget reopen? Seeing none.
I would move we go back to regular session.
Second. We have a second by Councilman Allen. All in favor?
Aye.
And we'll consider ourselves back in regular session. Any further discussion? If not, a motion.
I'll move that we approve those budget items.
We have a motion to approve. Second by Councilman Allen. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion is unanimous. Thank you, Zee. Thank you. All right, now that we budgeted for the roofing change order, would you present that?
Yeah.
For us, draw.
Sure. Okay, so there's a couple of changes that we're requesting here. When they pulled off all of the shingles and stuff, the sheeting was actually good, but we found a couple of other things, for lack of a better word. So one of the things that they're requesting, this one is kind of optional, I agree with it, but I want your opinion on it. So that item number one, that's $6,525. What they're talking about is, when he was exploring the warranty for the roof, the manufacturer came back and said, listen, if you go to a 5 inches of ISO over that 1.5 inches of the premium coated glass, we'll give you a 30-year warranty, and it will take your R value from an R29 to an R38, which will make this building more efficient. So I'm going to preface that with saying, originally you gave us a $5,000 buffer. Pretend like I haven't asked for that yet. We're taking that off the table and kind of reallocating this, okay? So by putting this better quality on both buildings, for the big building it's $6,525, for the fire department it's $3,700, okay? And again, it just gives us a higher rating. It takes our R values up and gives us an automatic 30-year warranty without having to pay extra for that. So those are the two fixed costs there. Item number 2 down there, this existing cap and flashing, we've kind of gone back and forth because there's been some issues with that metal cap that's around the top. There's some areas where the wind got a hold of it, it broke the brick off. There's some other areas, all of the area didn't have the right grade on it, and so the water wasn't flowing the way that it was supposed to, and so we weren't able to get a warranty. So what Pitt Roofing is proposing is that for $9,850, they could replace all of the flashing around the fire department building and bring it up to code and keep it so that the warranties will stay intact, give it the right pitch on that metal flashing so that the water flows in the right directions and things, and helps prevent that ice buildup and other things, issues that we're having. And then also replace a few areas where the brick is broken. They're going to have to go in and put like some 2x4s down to anchor that flashing in place where it's broken off. So that's the total cost to replace all of that metal flashing. The last piece, we need to update the heat tape that goes in between the two buildings. There's some seams where it goes from shingle to the flat roof that we have. And they can put in that 280 feet of self-regulating heat tape. The nice thing about their heat tape is that instead of only buy at Lowe's, that it's just either on or off. You have to go up and plug it in or turn it off. Theirs has it's self-regulating is what they call it, but if it drops below a certain temperature, it'll kick itself on, and if not, it'll kick itself off. So we don't have to send Bill up there or somebody to go in and make sure that it's on or off. It just stays on. So total for all of those changes is $24,325 above what we had originally asked you for in that original quote.
Well, do you remember?
280. We're 200,
290.
we were 290,000. And so with these changes, it would push us up to 214,325.
I'm just thinking, so that's about an 8%, 9% increase.
Yeah,
8% increase.
and we can, I like the longer warranty. I've gone back and forth. If we buy warranties for the 20-year warranties, it's gonna cost us about $7,000 anyway, and so we're making up a little difference to get more efficient on this building and just get the warranty included, so. And then I honestly, I think that we need the 9850 regardless, and the heat tape. I think those two we probably need, but I'm open to your thoughts on the others.
Any questions for Brock on that?
And just as an FYI here, Bill's been talking to him, he's been doing some inspections, we're not just taking their word for it. I've seen what they're looking at, we've got a bat problem in the fire station where some of that flashing has come up and broken. We're not just, we're not guessing, I guess is what I'm gonna say.
Did you call the proper authorities to get bats removed? You know that's a thing.
Yeah, I'm working on that.
Okay, well, if there's no questions, do we have a motion?
I'll move we approve the change order for that amount.
Yeah, I'll second that. I think if we're gonna do it, let's do it right. If we get that extra warranty, I think that's better in the long run.
Yeah.
It'll save the city money down the road, so.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Would you get those? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that's unanimous.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brock. We have the fire protection agreement, Mr. Bake, and then Lee's here. Thank you for being here, Chief.
How, did you guys get the fire under control? Was it on the road? Was it on the highway?
Just on the highway. So we're grateful to Chief Lee and Captain Claiborne can be here tonight with us. I did not think they would make it back. So tonight we have an agreement. This was presented at the county council meeting from the county for our fire protection agreement. This is not necessarily for approval tonight unless council so chooses. The county would just like us to discuss in the council meeting. Chief Lee has seen it. Please direct all your questions to him. I'll just give you the high level things they wanted us to present. The wages did change from $21 to $25. They did state the county is at 33, but they're making as big of a change as they can right now. Section 9 is a new section, and they're looking at adding a boundary map on there as well. So I have sent this to Chief Lee, and our city attorney has also looked at this as well. So if there are any questions, I'm very happy to turn it over to our fantastic fire chief, Chief Lee.
What are your thoughts in general? I know we've discussed it in the admin meeting, and I wanted to know what you thought personally.
So when Josh mentioned it to me, what I was worried about is the increases each year that the county pays, that's built into there. I suppose that I got it back. Both counties are paying us an hourly rate, which helps us as far as going out and taking care of fires. And the only part that I had a little heartburn over is the very last of it, but I understand why the county wrote that in. They added a part in there that if they feel the fire isn't being managed correctly in the county, they can come take it over. But I think it's one that's gotta be in every contract. It's probably in there for some other departments, and they had to add it in all. But I guess in the end, if we're mismanaging the fire and they feel that way, they can come take it over, right?
I had the same thoughts, and I won't say anymore. Grant, did you
I was
have?
choosing my words.
Did you have any concerns?
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
The only question I had, I always want to make sure that they're paying their fair share. Do you feel like, Chief, this covers?
Talking with Rhonda before, I haven't really talked with Zeke on it all, but, and I don't want to say this during this, but Rhonda said we were the only department that basically funded itself because of these contracts coming in. And so between Uinta County, Duchesne County, and then Roosevelt City, I think it works out to be about a third of each entity for our budget.
The only reason I ask, I just wonder how many, like how many fires you go to Duchesne County that are not Roosevelt City, and, you know, what that cost looks like over, you know, maybe something to look at for future contracts. Just, I don't wanna overcharge them, but I wanna make sure we're covering ourselves as a city, and they should be chipping in for Roosevelt City. We are in the county.
And when we do the end of the year stats in January, we present all of that, of
Right.
how much of our time, and we look more, when we do that, we present it as man hours versus how many fires we were on in those.
Mhm.
Because I can go to.
Right, man hours, that makes more
Be there
sense.
5 minutes, and go to 2 in Shane County and be there for a week each one. So we look at the man hours to make sure in that respect.
What are we currently paying our firefighters?
So in the city right now, we get $15 a run. Is that what you're after?
Yeah, and then there's an hourly after that, right?
Not in the city.
Not in the city?
In
Okay.
the city, it's $15 if you're on the truck, period. If they only make it to the station and don't make a truck, it's $10 for that.
Have we looked at, how long has it been that way? How long have we paid that amount?
So the change to $15 if you're on a truck's been 3 years, approximately. Right, basically we get each month, yeah. So the city also pays $250 a month per firefighter, I believe, and that increased as well 2 or 3 years ago.
Gotcha.
And then the hourly rates come in when we're in Uinta County or Duchesne County.
Gotcha.
But not in the city.
Right, obviously.
And what do we normally pay the firefighters when they're in the county or?
So the county pays $21 an hour,
Okay,
but that's broke down, both counties are the same way, that's broke down to minutes.
so that's a pass-through then? Meaning the firefighters that are fighting that fire in Duchesne County get $21 an hour?
It's paid by minute, but it's based on $21 an hour.
Okay.
So what it is at the end of the month, we will send a bill to Uinta County and Duchesne County just for the firefighters' pay.
Uh-huh.
And then that comes back in, and goes in to cover the expenses that have gone out of wages, I guess would be the department that, or the budget line that would come out of.
Okay. I'm just wondering if they're increasing a little bit. Have you had any, and I'll stop with this, but have you had any, have you lost any firefighters because of pay? When I was there, we were there for the thrill of firefighting. We weren't there for the money.
No, I haven't heard anyone saying, okay, I'll back up a little bit. Prior to us getting our contract with Uinta County, there was a little bit of that of why am I going to Uinta County if I'm not gonna make anything? But we reminded them, that's not why we're here, and they're like, well, it is, you're right, it's not, but the Duchesne's paying us this, why can't I match this? And Uinta didn't match it. The only time you might hear a little bit of grumbling is if we're working on the tribe, because then we're back to the nothing pays.
Thank you for that. Any other questions for Chief?
No, not for me.
Seeing none, do we have a motion?
I'll move that we approve.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman White. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
By Councilman Allen, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Capital Project Animal Shelter, Lieutenant Tucker. And shelter van.
Shelter van, so we've run into a little bit of problem with $5,000 in the capital project to get a used van for the animal shelter transport. But every time we find a van, by the time we get it on the agenda and get all that, it's gone. So we wanted to see about if city council could approve that we spend the $25,000, and then maybe get with the city manager or something to kind of get it going a little bit faster, so these cars aren't sold when we find it.
Yeah, I think we can do that. Just make a motion to approve an expenditure for a minivan up to, but not to exceed 25,000.
And maybe we can find one.
I'll make that motion.
And we'll just, okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman White. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. And I would just, and you'll consult with city manager,
Yeah, we'll
right?
just-
As those-
They've already been documented.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, that was easy.
Yeah.
The Cephas janitorial supply agreement, Brock.
We're just trying to find the attachment, give us a half a second.
Okay. Do we want to move to the next one while you're looking for that?
Yeah, we can,
All right, let's go to 9G, page bench water line replacement, Kirby.
Yes. Alright. On July 19th, we conducted a bid opening for the Page Bench Waterline Replacement Project. And you guys should have in the packet, we had 4 contractors bid on it, which was very competitive bidding. It came in really close to the engineer's probable cost. Terry Brotherson seemed to be and is the lowest bidder. And in the past, we've worked with Brothers Construction, and they're really a good crew and a good company, and very confident they'll do a good job. So our recommendation would be tonight, if the council could award Terry or Brotherson excavating the project for the Page Bench water line replacement.
Do we have that total, do we have that contract and the total cost?
Yes.
Just so we can display it for the public.
There it is.
So Terry Brotherson, 1.221 million?
Yes.
Okay. All right, any questions from the council?
Jeff, have you guys worked with these guys before?
Yeah, they did, when was that project, 2022?
Yes.
They did the last city kind of street and water line reconstruction that was over by the library and stuff, and they've done a lot for the city in the past. They've been around for, a long time, 40 years.
Yeah.
And I asked Kirby earlier, he's comfortable with them as a bid, so.
Yep.
And this is money from the grant that we got
That's correct, yes.
a couple of years ago. We're finally getting on it, so.
And you remember we already awarded the bid to Gerber for the tank rehabilitation.
Mm-hmm.
So the last piece of this will be agreement once we get through the series.
With CMB Mountain, we still have enough money left in
Yes.
that
Yes.
grant for that.
The one thing, yes.
Perfect.
I would move we approve the bid based on Kirby's recommendation.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second? Second by Councilman Allen. All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay. Unanimous.
Mary, how many documents with notice of award for you sign, please?
Okay. Does it need to be? Okay, yeah, I'll just,
I'd say I really like Kirby in that bid that you're gonna have a bypass, so if you need to work on that tank, that you can still get water down and we don't have to shut everything off. That's awesome.
It's a big plus. Thank you.
thanks Kirby.
Yeah.
Did you get the, all right, we'll go to that, 9F.
Yep.
There you go.
All right, so what we've, I was just telling Chief to give it back to attachments. So what we're trying to accomplish is just getting a little bit more consistent control at the city with cleaning and supplies and all of those things. And so, we've been working with Cintas to supply us with paper towels, toilet paper, air fresheners, soap, in all of the bathrooms. That includes park bathrooms, nature park, everything that the city has, airport, pool, everywhere. And really what we're asking the council for is, Cintas is on a state contract, so this is the approved version of that contract that they can offer to cities. And what they ask for is a 36-month agreement to use their service because they're gonna come in and replace all of the paper towel soap, all of those dispensers so that they match and are the same and can hold their products. And they don't charge us for that installation. They charge us for just a weekly price. And the first week that we do this, it's $529, but that is a case of toilet paper and paper towels at all of those locations. And so it's not gonna be $529 every week. It's gonna fluctuate based on when they've gotta give us those extra supplies. We'll take care of rags and mops and the mop buckets and the mixing stations and all of those things. We budgeted $30,000 for custodial supplies. At the 529, it's like 29,000 something, 29.5 for the whole year, if it were to be at that price. But they don't put that 529 in the contract because we know that it's gonna fluctuate. And so we have like our per unit prices and things. Grant has reviewed this, and so what I'm asking for from council is, one, if you have any questions about this direction, and two, if you're comfortable with that 36-month term so that we can then agree to sign this with them and engage with them to start bringing in these supplies for us.
Is it a flat fee over the 3
Yeah,
years?
it won't change during that time,
Have you talked to any other cities that?
I haven't talked to any other cities, I didn't get that far with all of those, so when I was looking for it, I was comparing with Alsco and some of those other places, and these guys had the best rate on the state contract, and they were willing to come out to Vernal once a week to check our stuff, so.
Any other questions?
Do you have to put the stuff in, or do we have?
If there's toilet paper or paper towels that run out in between, yes, but with the soaps and those things, they'll fill them as needed when they come out, that's why they do their weekly runs.
And we have people to do that?
Yeah, the custodial crew that we're doing interviews actually right now for those staff members, and so they'll help us keep track of that, but it'll just kind of be eyeballing, and I think they do leave a thing of soap or an air freshener behind, we store them here, but when they come and do their weekly checks, they're checking our levels and they're topping everything off for us and making sure that we're taking care
Are
of it.
they gonna take care of the park? So
Yeah.
Dustin, you're on board with this?
Yeah, I've been working with Brock and talking about it, and I think it's a good thing, especially where we fluctuate a lot of supplies, especially for UBIC or 4th of July or car show, whatever activities going on up there, we definitely fluctuate supplies a lot. So I think this could be a good benefit to us.
Do we know what do we have an idea of what we currently use annually?
It's all over the board, because we've got certain paper towels here, we got some over at Kirby Shop, the golf course has something different, some people are going to Amazon, some are going to Office Depot. We haven't had a really specific line item with it, so that's why we're trying to just bring it back to where we can monitor it with one place, and we're not using different vendors and multiple line items, and just have it in one spot.
There should be I don't know the accounting system, but there should be a line item, an expenditure line item of janitorial supplies or
Yes,
something like that.
there is
that
now.
Everything should dump into.
There is now.
Okay.
So, yeah. It's just been one of those things that's been an oversight. We've just let all the departments manage it on their own, so now we're just trying to take that burden off and bring it all back so that we do it in one and we can track it
Yeah,
easily.
and I get the reason why you'd want to do that. I was just wondering historically, if we can compare how much this is going to cost compared to what we have been. It's not a huge, it doesn't seem like a huge expense, but it's just curious.
Is there potential, since you said it varies, could you have a week where it's used a lot, let's say UBIC, and they have to come again during the week, or?
They would just, if we know that that's happening, and by that time, we'll have some good historical data to see what we've been using, and we can say, hey, we've got this event coming up, can you leave us one extra roll of, or one extra case of that paper towel, or whatever that looks like. So they're willing to work with us on however we need to make that look, so.
Any other questions?
And you're pretty comfortable then? I know Cintas is a big company, and having a state bid, they usually negotiate a pretty good deal at the state, so I'm good with moving to approve based on Brock's recommendation.
Okay, do you have a motion to approve? Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman White, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, go ahead, Brock.
I just was gonna say, does that motion include that Josh or I can execute that contract when we get to it, or do you want to be the one to execute that one?
I think that's a grant question. I think it's probably.
We've made a decision that we want you here to execute.
Okay. All right, I'll get with you then when we get to the final thing we need to sign, so.
Sounds good. And then, not to deal with totally with this, but along those lines, when you're talking about when we have those events, do we contract with K&K, when we're having like UBIC and things like that?
Yeah, we work with them. I don't know as far as contracts, how that's built out. I wouldn't know, but we'd have to find out how that works.
Okay, the only reason is I noticed, how do we monitor the trash and things like that in the park when we're having those events? And I don't need an answer tonight. I'm just wondering, as we're thinking about kids, janitorial supplies, keeping things clean, that those events are hectic, I understand. I'm just wondering if there's a way we can, maybe we can talk about that on another setting, but just a thought that I had, because I was up there this last, and by the way, EBIC was great, and everything looked,
Yeah.
the lawns were awesome, I mean, so thanks for keeping everything in good shape, but it was a great party, great fun. All right, so I did see the expenditures go down, Councilman Allen reminded me, any questions on those? If not,
I had just one is all, the pedestrian crossing UDOT, where was that at? And are we reimbursed from UDOT or is that something we have to do?
That's on State Street by the nature park.
Okay,
That's that project.
all right, so UDOT, so we have to pay UDOT for that or, because they had UDOT on there.
Yeah, a portion of that, Ryan is right here, so. It's all from that grant. It's all from the grant, yeah, but there is a portion that goes to UDOT.
what was the, I didn't get to see that, what was the?
I think it was 19? Yeah, I was trying to remember. I should have wrote it down. That one it didn't say where it was located, so I was just concerned. And being UDOT, I didn't know if we had to pay it and then they reimburse us because it's something they were doing. Sounds like it's what we're doing and we have to pay them.
Just that.
Yeah, that amount actually will come from the grant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, I understand that, but it comes out of out of the grant, but it comes out of our coffers now. Because I saw UDOT, I didn't know if it's something they reimbursed us for. And like I said, the location wasn't listed, so I wasn't sure. So that's the only question I had. I don't know if anyone else saw anything else.
Any other questions?
I would move we approve.
We have a motion? Second by Councilman Allen, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. City manager report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thanks, Mr. Baker.
You stole half of my report. I didn't want to compliment everybody on UBIC. It was a spectacular event. We have our new fire truck driver, did a wonderful job.
Yeah, Councilman Allen did a great job driving that truck.
He did. He looked really good too, with the glasses and everything. But it was a spectacular event, and just the feedback has been phenomenal. Hats off to our police department, keeping the peace, our parks with all they've done and cleaning up. And also, I do want, since we talked about the fire agreement, I did not anticipate these individuals being here, but really hats off to our fire department. Right now, the state is literally burning just about everywhere, and our department's been fantastic. It's so nice to know that we have such a great department that we can rely on. And one thing that was mentioned, I know I've talked with Ryan Claiborne about our department. We do have some very seasoned individuals, and we are extremely fortunate to have their level of knowledge and experience. And so Chief is guaranteed he's around for at least 20 more years. So we're very grateful for him and those other individuals. But I did want to pass that along, how grateful we are. And finally, I do want to mention we had a great meeting yesterday about the All Abilities Playground. We are reaching out to some other stakeholders in the community. We're going to look at different locations, bring those for council approval, and then just really hit the fundraising hard. And we truly feel like we can fundraise for this. If you don't know, an All Abilities Playground is for everyone really, but it has things for children with disabilities or other sensory issues, but it's for everybody. We want a facility that people in our community can come and recreate and have a good time regardless of their situation. So we've reached out to some stakeholders already, and it was a fantastic meeting. Mayor was able to join us, Ryan, some people from Wildlife Conservation Fund, the hospital, and we're going to be reaching out to some more of our other vendors as well. We had our parks represented there, but we're really excited. what I'm asking from council and the public in general, if you know of anybody that would want to be involved, please get a hold of me. We want to include everybody, especially if there's people that have recommendations or ideas or needs for this park. We want to make this a park that will be used. So please reach out to friends, neighbors, and let's make this the best all abilities park in the state.
I just want to piggyback on that and just mention how the culture's changed in Roosevelt City to a large degree. When people come and have ideas, in the council meetings, how open the council is, the staff is, and everything else to take those projects and move forward with them. And this is just another example of that. And, the couple that came and spoke to the council about this not very long ago, I had a conversation with them afterwards. I saw him with someone else. He's like, yeah, we didn't really expect probably anything to be done, but we know it's needed. But just to see when people have concerns or they have ideas and there's needs in the community, that our staff and our council takes a hold of those and moves forward. And then the community has been so good to get involved. And so just want to, hats off to you guys and staff for following through with those projects and being willing to help and assist bring them to fruition, I guess. So it's awesome to see.
Any questions?
All right, committee reports. Anything?
Interfaith finished last Sunday with their final concert in the park. And I do appreciate the bathroom thing, and that's something we need to work on or consider. But they had, I think the last one they had about 100 there. They did a cultural one. We had some people from different cultures that were able to share a little bit their culture, sing or share their talents and things. So I appreciate the Interfaith Council and their the things they're trying to do to bring us together as a community and to foster goodwill and service and helping each other.
Your report, right? Just the Arts, Parks, and Rec Committee, they'll have a few activities coming up, one being Autumn Fest. So if you don't have that on your calendar yet, make sure you get it on your calendar. There's been a lot of effort in that. Hal, do you have a comment?
Don't forget to talk about your ribbon cutting.
Oh, yeah. So we did have, we had the soft opening for the gun range. Hal was there. And what did you think of it, Hal?
Good function, yeah.
And it's pretty exciting. I know people are already there utilizing that. If you haven't been to see the 100-200 range yet, go. It's top notch as far as a gun range. I mean, it's dirt, burns, and cement benches and some buildings, but I mean, they are nice. Everything's been nicely done, and it's a really nice facility. So we're looking forward. I know Ryan is working on looking at next steps for the gun range. A few things in the works, hoping that grant comes through. If not, I think we're going to put the pedal to the metal this fall anyway and see what we can get done. So
I know that the dignitaries are coming August 21st to look at what we're doing, so hopefully that gives us an edge up on that grant.
I hope they just give us an answer right then.
That'd be awesome. When they here's the check, go ahead and spend it.
That's what I'm anticipating. Yeah. So, yeah, good stuff happening, and appreciate all those involved. Councilman Allen, do you have anything for us?
No, not really.
Okay. Items for future discussion.
Did we ever, we talked about upping the pay for planning and zoning as well as looking at some pay stipends, whatever for APR. If we probably need to, we haven't addressed that yet. We talked about it, but so I would say for next council, we probably should make a decision.
Agreed. Let's put that on the next council agenda. I think we already talked about some I don't know, compensation levels and things like that.
Yeah, we did, and we approved some money for it. I just don't think we've made it official, so I think we need to do that.
Agreed. Okay, if there's not anything else, we do have.
Mayor, I move we go into closed session to talk about personnel.
Okay. And do we have anything else that we're talking about in closed session today?
Character compensate an individual.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So, listed in Utah Code 52-4-205, all the items listed there.
Okay, we'll go ahead and entertain that motion. Do we have a second to the motion?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman White, and we'll need a roll call vote. Councilman Busenbarg?
Aye.
Councilman White?
Aye.
Councilman Allen?
Aye.
Wait a minute. I don't think we can go into closed session with 3 out of the 5, because it's 67 point something %.
Yeah, you are correct.
So,
I guess we
I guess we're
postpone till
gonna
next.
have to postpone the closed session, and we'll plan on, let's do all of at the next one, and we'll have the appointed positions that fall under you. We'll have those interviews first, and then we'll have you and Grant after. But we'll just do that then.
I'd like to rescind my motion.
Okay. Well, I got thinking, like, I had.
I forgot about the 67%, so I appreciate you catching that, Mayor.
All right, well,
I
if
would,
we're not going into closed session, then a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman White, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? You can stay here.